were in those beautiful places. So you can have those. As I always say, that AI is great at hallucinations. You can hallucinate too of where you were. And even if it wasn't as great of a spring break as you expected, you can hallucinate that it was even better. So anyways, so I am recording now and welcoming everybody back. And we're going to talk about the next part of the semester. People will be coming in and out. Hopefully coming in, more of you will be appearing and showing your faces. Anything that I need, anyone have any comments? You know that your grades are posted already, and I'm going to be talking about the next part of the semester as we go through this. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of dates. We had one exam, right, which is multiple choice and open-ended questions. We have a second exam. The second exam is on April 22nd. So if you haven't put that in your calendar, put that in your calendar. Wednesday, April 22nd. And what's the beauty is now everybody knows where it is, right? It's going to be in the same place. It's going to be at the same time. And you will see Lily, right? You will see me, right? Bright and cheerful, right? And Lily and I will bring better snacks next time, I think, and maybe we'll share it with the class too, since it's, the 6 o'clock. We'll see on that. So we got that on the 22nd. The 27th is the last day of class, and that is when you're going to be presenting your final project to me and to Lily. And as a team, we'll talk about that today. And the final exam, I will not have a final exam. Instead, your final project will be due at that time. Everybody understand? I think the final exam is the project is the most important assignment that you're going to be doing in this class that you can take with you. So in order for you to take with you, I want to devote the most to it. Okay? So let's go on to it, and then you'll send out messages, Lily, for anyone that I need to see or anything like that at the end. Okay. Any questions? If not, I'm going to start sharing my screen. And Isabella, do you see my screen? What do you see on it?
The YouTube live.
Okay, so you see that it's YouTube live, and you also see that it's delayed because we're going to different servers. Okay. Let me just open up a new courses here. Activity, I want courses. And I want section K. And read, where do I have to go for what's due?
The what's due section.
Wow. That should be on the exam, right? Where do I have to go for what's due? It's going to be in the what's due section. Okay, so I have at this point, I'm going to shut off my edit mode off so you see the same thing that I see. And I saw that we had March 4th in person. So you know already on your notes that it's April 22nd, our second exam in person in the same place. And we will also give out a review guide as well. Okay, so we have an audit assignment that says complete final project 1. We will be starting today our final project, and I'll have Lily help me on that to give me some student perspective in what the final project is. It's important. You'll be doing it with your group, which presents help and also challenges, and you'll need to work with that. And then Thanks, Lily, for putting this in. And then we're going to the next chapter. The next chapter is Tech Guide, Cloud Computing, which is which is the Wiley reading. The next one is the adaptive assignment, just like we did the quizzes. You know, the quizzes we can take twice, no big things to say. So let's look at basically what our readings need to be. And if I look at my readings, if I look at Tech Guide 3, you'll see that it talks about the basics of cloud computing, different types of clouds, what are cloud computing services, the benefits of cloud computing, the concerns of the risk with cloud computing, the big three cloud vendors, and the adaptive assignment that you need to do. I want to emphasize, we've heard about the cloud all along, right, Kiko? Cloud has not been new to us, right? Even when I start with Zoom, Kiko, what is it? I have a choice to record where? To the cloud, or I have a choice where else?
To record locally on your computer.
Locally to my cloud. Look how we're speaking, right? It's like second nature to us. When I talk about the cloud, what does it mean? It means that via the internet, via the browser, I'm going to another server to save to the cloud. There's a difference when I talk about, so as cloud computing, as end users, Kiko, do you ever save anything to the cloud of what you have? Have you ever used anything besides Zoom?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what?
Like Google Docs, it always saves to the cloud.
Okay, and what else? Do you have have you ever used Google Drive or OneDrive?
Yeah, I've used those too.
Those are personal places that you can save to. And why do they call it the cloud? Is it's not on personally on your computer, right? It via the internet. You need internet access to save it, right? So in this case, when we're talking about cloud computing, the basics of cloud computing, we're talking about organizations that we define cloud computing as a type of computing that delivers convenient on demand. So Kiko, what's on demand mean? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, it
What do
just
you
means like instant, like whenever you need
instant
it.
when I decide, you as an end user, right? If you want to have Netflix, right? Why does everybody like Netflix? It's on demand. If I want to watch a movie, right? On demand, I can say, I want to see that movie at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can see something at 10 o'clock, right? That's on demand. As the user, you can be able to do it. And pay as you go. You see this? Pay as you go means when I use the service, only when I use the service do I pay. And in this case, not only, let me just move this all the way up, as pay as you go for multiple customers to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. And what are computing resources? Servers. And what are servers? Servers are computers that serve other customers. You can make your own. Did you know, Kiko? You could make your own laptop a server, but because you have limited RAM, limited disk space, it usually isn't available to you. But a server usually is a way in which you can have a server locally, or you can have the server on the internet, network storage. Notice it could be primary storage or what? Secondary storage, applications, that means software, and services that can be rapidly and easily accessed over the internet. So what did the company, so if I go back to my Blackboard, under what's due, these readings are essential for you. Do you see that read that AWS, Amazon, and
Yeah, I see it.
Microsoft, these are essentials from you, and it's essential for you to understand it. And also, I guarantee that I'll be using some of that information for a possible open-ended question, if you think about it in advance. And in this case, if I open it up in a new tab, do you see the URL, Reed? It says AWS Amazon.com.
Yeah, I do.
Are you familiar, Reed, with Amazon? Do you ever use their
Yeah, I do
services?
quite a bit.
Okay, what do you do with their?
I use it to like buy stuff.
Me too. I got plenty of stuff. And when I want something, I say, why should I hassle to go with my car and drive somewhere?
Especially
even
with Miami traffic.
Yes, exactly. I have to go across the street even. It takes me 15 minutes. So I said, let alone go somewhere, right? And being the hassles of Miami traffic, who needs that? And if I want to, I can get next day. Sometimes I can even give the present day, right? So all of that. So Amazon, we know that basically, and I'm a Prime member, right? And I get all excited, even though I don't even pay attention to how much I pay per year for my subscription. I get excited. I'm probably cheap on the Lily probably knows I love free stuff, right? So when I see free shipping, right, in my mind, I get excited, even though I'm stupid enough to think that I've actually paid for that free shipping by my subscription. Or when I go to Whole Foods, I get that discount, an extra 10%, right? And I don't realize that they charge 30% more, but it doesn't matter. But you would think that that would be their most profitable sector, Reed. But guess what? AWS, which stands for Amazon Web Services, is their most profitable sector. Even though we as end consumers think, hey, they must be making a fortune on this Amazon sending me a bunch of boxes, right? That I can do it. But AWS is cloud computing. And just so you know, Amazon started selling books online. And that was a big deal in the beginning of the internet. They said, instead of going to a bookstore, we're going to sell books online. And people said, you're going to make a business out of that. And guess what? They did. But what did they have to do? They had to get a bunch of servers. They had to serve themselves. They had to basically, in this case, get computing power, get storages and databases. And what they did as a company that was brilliant, in my humble opinion, is they said, guess what? We know how to do that online. Let's sell it to other companies. It wasn't even their basic service. Their basic service in the beginning was selling just books. And that's when became AWS, Amazon Web Services. And this is really their cloud computing is basically among all companies, they're the leader. They surpass Microsoft and they surpass Google. And you're surprised Google has YouTube. They should be the leader, but they're not. But anyways, look at this definition of why I like so much. Read this URL, this link, is it tells me about cloud computing. And cloud computing is on demand, right? That the people can get it when they want it. Delivery of IT resources. So in this case, Isabella, what's IT stand for? You have an idea?
Information technology.
Information technology resources. So all of this over where, Isabella? The internet, with pay as you go. And instead of buying, owning, and maintaining physical data centers, and service, you can access technology services such as computing power, storage database on as needed basis from a cloud provider like Amazon Web Services. And of course, they're going to say a cloud performance like Amazon Web Services, Kiko. Why? Because this is part of Amazon's website and they're going to promote themselves. So even based on this, this is a definition of what cloud computing is. And basically what I want you to tell you, and you need to think about it, the cloud, saving on the cloud, we all do. All of our, basically almost all of our software is on the cloud. But when they talk about cloud computing, they are talking about an enterprise, remember, an organization using these services. Everybody with me? So they're using these services, cloud computing, and using it. And they basically said, who is using it? Notice they say organizations of every type, size, and industry are using the cloud for what? A variety of use cases. Data backup. You remember we talked about Kiko data, how we want to back it up? We're going to back it up. Disaster recovery. In this case, Jake, disaster recovery could be what for the university? Have you ever heard of a hurricane, Jake? Could a hurricane possibly take down all the buildings in the university? Could. So for disaster recovery, or guess what? Disaster recovery of ransomware, they stop my services. Email, you get Gmail as a client, right? I get Outlook being staffed. They've divided it up. They haven't told us exactly why they divided it up. But anyways, I have my ideas. But email, virtual desktops. What's a virtual desktop? That I can be, if I have a Mac, I can run Windows on what they call a virtual desktop, meaning it's virtual, meaning I don't have to get physically another computer. I can tell them I want a Windows running machine and I'm gaining access in the internet. Software development and testing, big data analytics, customer-facing web applications. So we're going to be using Wix. Guess what? Wix, if we didn't know, could possibly be using cloud computing. They could be using even Amazon to what? Host all of our websites. And for example, healthcare, right? Personalized treatment, financial services. A lot of you are in finance, of course. They're using the cloud to provide real-time fraud detections, video game makers, right? And then they're talking about what? The benefits of cloud computing. Wouldn't that be, Isabella? Great question, right? Agility, meaning that I can move. So for instance, Isabella, what's your major? I forgot.
Finance and economics.
Finance and economics. So let's say, Isabella, we start a company where we're going to be AI consultants to wealth managers. And you're going to be the CEO, Isabella, and I'll be on your board of directors. I'll be your advisor. Give me advisory shares, I say. Okay? So in that, basically, we need to know, in this case, the cloud gives us broad technology, but when we can spin up that we can move our technology when we want. Elastic is when we start off. How many customers you think we're going to start off with, Isabella?
I mean, not a lot. If we're just
Zero,
starting out.
right?
Yeah.
We don't have anybody yet. You have
Yeah.
anybody in mind? I don't see anybody signing a check yet for us, right?
Yeah.
So we start off with zero. So in that case, you're going to tell me then, Isabella, why invest in a lot of hardware? You have, Dr. Rush, you have your laptop. I have my laptop. In terms of computing or anything like that, let's not invest a lot in what? Hardware. We don't want it to be what? And then if I have a lot of sophisticated hardware, somebody has to take care of it, right? Then we have to hire, Isabella, IT experts. That's not going to be our business, right? I want to hire financial experts. Let Amazon or let Microsoft or Google take care of that. So you
Yeah.
can see, and when we grow, then we pay as we go, and then we can ask for more services. Cost savings. So basically, if you're in finance, the cloud allows us to trade fixed expenses, such as data centers and physical service, for variable expenses. And only pay for IT as you consume it. So the fixed expense, I'm stuck with that. And in 3 years, it's about that those machines will be outdated. Don't you think? I know so, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to sell it for much, right? They're going to be basically gone down in value. Plus, the variable expenses are much lower than you would have to pay to do it yourself because of what? Economies of scale. You're in economics, so the idea of economy
Mhm.
of scale is going to make it less expensive for each. And I can deploy it globally in minutes, and I can do it throughout the world. So, Isabel, you were in Europe. We can decide if we have European customers, we can decide then even to tell Amazon or Google, guess what? Get me some servers also in Europe. So it'll even be that latency will be less. And the type of computing, there's what they'll call infrastructure as a service. That's hardware, platform as a service, software as a service. We're using software all the time. So if we even develop some software, we can host it where? With Amazon or any of the others. So you can see that this is done. And then if I go back to Amazon, guess what? Each of this is going to be, let me open this up in a new tab, and you can see that this one is Microsoft. Microsoft, instead of calling it AWS for Amazon Web Services, they come up with this name that I think is not a good naming system because who would know what Azure is, right? Azure doesn't tell me that it's, at least Amazon says web services on the web, right? This just gives me some nonsense, almost like how they basically give names to drugs, silly names. But anyways, that's beside the point. But look what they say cloud computing is defined. It's delivery of, instead of IT services, what do they call it, Isabella? Computing services. And what do they say? It includes servers, storage, database, networking, software. Do we know that? Analytics and intelligence, AI. So I can do a lot of my AI modeling, Isabella, if we want to do some new AI modeling for predicting the stock market, which is probably going to be a big thing in the future, right? I need what? Super what? And expensive CPUs. Remember the central processing unit? I need tons of RAM and I need a lot of storage. Why invest now when we don't know even if our business is going to work? We may be switching to something else later on. So basically, I have those economies of scale, and you typically pay only for the cloud services you use. It's almost like the electricity I use. If I shut down my air conditioner and I'm going to go away for a month, I don't have to pay for that electricity of my air conditioner. I probably have to pay some basic things, but if I'm not going to use my apartment, not going to use turn on the lights, I'm not going to use the air conditioning, it's going to be less, and helps you lowering your operating costs, runs your infrastructure, because Isabella, me and you don't want to run the infrastructure. We don't want to hire people more efficiently. So the types of clouds they're going to talk about is, guess what? What are the benefits? Cost, speed, global scale, productivity, performance, reliability, and security. They're going to deal with the security. I would imagine Microsoft or Amazon, I trust them more with security than me and you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a security. I know probably more than you do on security, but you remember we had that Mauricio came. What do they do for security for the university? He just oversees it. But what does he do? He outsources it to, what did he say? 4 different services. Right? It's basically he's doing in the cloud. They're doing in the cloud, overseeing what we're doing.
Right.
Here. So this is what the university's using cloud services all the time. So they have the public cloud, the private, you'll read about that, the hybrid cloud, and then they have as a service, meaning it's over the internet, and it's basically the infrastructure, the platform, the software, and we know we're using those all the time. Okay? So that is what we're talking about of cloud computing. Everybody with me so far? So that's the idea, Isabel. It makes sense that that's what's going to be. We've talked about the cloud since the first day of class, right? And you've been using it probably as long as you've even gone onto the internet, right? As a young child, right? That
Yeah.
you've really been using cloud. But here, cloud computing means organizations signing up with services to get a lot of their business needs. Think about it as business needs doing it. Okay. The next part that I'm going to share in going back is the audit assignment. Let me just move this. Is the audit assignment in audit assignment instructions. So if I go to audit assignment instructions, you should all see final project part 1, team formation and topic selection. You see here a PDF that's similar. What Lily has helped to do is giving the rubric of basically this assignment where our new project is every group is going to be an AI consulting company, and you choose what sector you want. And basically the goal is that each of you will get a real project that you could use past this class, and that you're going to have skills that not only are you going to learn skills, but that you can help other businesses make them more efficient, possibly using AI of where it fits. So you'll have your team, you'll create a content folder in Blackboard. You all know how to create a folder, which is nice, and you'll call it final project. All of your assignments for till now to the end of the semester for your final project will be there. And now what you have to do is you as a team have to figure out what you want to concentrate on. How you decide is what's of interest to you. Not only what you're studying, but what you really will enjoy, what you really can contribute, and what you want to have it. So I'm giving you examples. You can come up with other examples, but things, for instance, a lot of you are finance majors, wealth management. Wealth management, you can think about how can you help wealth managers? How can you help clients of wealth managers use AIs to help them be more efficient, to do financial analysis? That's one. General business consulting, right? Teach productivity tools, think about automation, marketing. A number of you love marketing. That's a no-brainer. I think marketing was one of the first that really got into AI, and they can flourish. A lot of these marketing agencies doing the ads, doing social media, creating logos, creating images, creating videos. Small businesses, how can they use AI to help them? Real estate, based on if you're going to be helping the realtor, the broker, the buyers, the sellers. Also, you can think about you as being students. You know how to be a student. What would students need in terms of job seeking using AI? You can think about also mental health. You as students know what are the trials and tribulations of being a student. What kind of mental issues do you face? A lot of times the counseling center, one is maybe you don't want to go to the counseling center. Two, even if you do, it's so hard to get an appointment. And three, how often can you see someone at the counseling center or a psychologist or psychiatrist? Is maybe you can use AI as a help or even using it as parts. Tutoring, other things that you can think about in terms of internships. You can think about a chatbot creations, healthcare if you are into that, entrepreneurship if you want to help other entrepreneurs starting businesses, starting from the business plan all the way up to their website and others. What you need to do is also figure out what AI tools can help these businesses, and you need to research that. So what we want you to do is first create your proposal. Create two proposals, two different ideas. And you remember, I'm in everybody's team, and you remember that I'm an advisor. So I will approve one of your projects. One of my criteria will be, is this doable? If it's so far out, I said, I want to, some people said, I want to do cybersecurity, in this case, creating tools. And I said, what do you know about cybersecurity? Could you even evaluate anything? And you say nothing. So I said, maybe this is not the best, but what do you understand? What do you know? So these are ideas. And below you see a screenshot of what needs to be done. This needs to be done by Monday to get my approval. But what do I want to do on Wednesday is I want you to work on this in class. So we don't have a problem of when can we meet, blah, blah, blah. You can meet afterwards as well, or you can meet before the class. But I want every team member, and those team members who are not here, what I suggest you do is to, text your team members and tell them that they need to be in class on Wednesday, because I will pay attention to that. And then myself and Lily will be going along with each of your groups, trying to figure out what do you need to get a great project. So what I'm going to ask, I'm going to stop sharing. What I think would be best is to show you one of our final outputs. You understand that, Lucy? It show I think this way it'll guide you to where are we going to this part. So if you could be so kind, Lily, and share maybe one or two projects that have been in the past, and people can see, that they're going to get a domain name, see that we're going to use a voice agent. Everybody remember 1-800-CHAT-GPT? Do you remember that, Kiko, that we use 1-800-CHAT-GPT? Yes, no? Can't hear you.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So that basically is what? That's an AI caller. It's a phone number, right, Kiko, that doesn't talk to a person. Your phone number isn't provisioned to be a large language model. But what we'll do is we'll take something like a ChatGPT, but create our own, grab our own phone number, get a provision, and then you will then do what? You'll be able to program it to say, how do I want it to answer? You don't want it to answer, hi, I'm 1-800-CHAT-GPT, but rather, hey, I'm Wealth Managers AI, or something like that. And then somebody can say, who's the team there? And they say, oh, Kiko, is on the team. He's the CEO. Reed is the CFO, and Isabella is our innovative marketing officer. Okay, so Lily, you want to start?
Sure. So I kind of want to go through not only like So this is one of our TAs in training. This is what her group did for their website. But I also want to go through how they submitted it as well.
Perfect.
So this is her work last semester. This is like how it'll look like when you're finally like you'll present and then professor will give you feedback and then you'll do another presentation over Zoom with the given feedback. So this is like what the final submission of your project will look like. But in terms of proposals, this is what her proposals look like.
Now, do
And
we
then-
have this, Lily? Do we have a sample of that already in our audit area under
No,
five?
I have Anastasia's.
Yeah, but we have it already called final group 0.
Yeah, we
Fine.
have it. So you
Okay,
can look
good.
at that as well, but it's just important like for the proposal aspects of it that each team member has one AI product.
Right.
Like it goes by team member. So like if
Right.
you have 3 team members, you need 3 like AI solutions. If you have 4,
And this can change too,
yeah.
right? This is
But
the
it's at
beginning
least.
one, right? Later on, you can find other ones, but you say temporarily, this is what we found. You want to do some research.
And so she has a mental health company. She has her mission statement. I think is it next week, Professor, where we'll go over VAPI?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things is, I think this is for text right now, but can you just go up to the
No,
very
this
top?
is text. I mean, this is speech.
Is it? Well, let's hear it, because last time it didn't work. Let's see. Oh, maybe she didn't allow the mic. Let's hear it.
Hi, this is Flora from Reflect AI customer support. How can I help you today?
Can you explain what your company does, please?
Reflect AI provides AI-powered mental wellness solutions. Our mission is to bridge the gap between human insight and artificial intelligence to redefine mental health support. We empower clients with intelligent tools that enhance understanding, precision, and compassion in care.
Ask who are the officers of the company? Who's the team?
Reflect.ai has a leadership team dedicated to our mission. Sophia Benes Hirschfeld is our CEO, Marco Buchbinder II is the CFO, Kursai Kasundath is the CMO, and Brandon Gaybauer is our CIO.
Great. Fantastic. So everybody see that? That's amazing. So you can basically what I told Sophia that one of the things is that she could make that that's called a caller ID. Caller basically a AI caller. It's also called a voice agent.
Hers is impressive.
And what's nice here, you're going to show your team, but you see that cat? No, this does not look like a BTE210 project. You understand? Nobody says, I am a sophomore and what I'd like to do is go to the beach in Miami. But rather, Sophia is the CEO, sets the overall strategy. Brandon is the CIO, oversees AI infrastructure. Carissa is the CMO, blah, blah, blah. And Marco is the CFO, manages and budget. If you want to say also, majors in finance, Isabella, and economics at the University of Miami, if it fits, you can put that in. But it doesn't want to say in the very beginning, I'm a sophomore, freshman at the University of Miami, and my front activities, but rather this is the company. Go ahead.
And then this is like what they show on like each page, the contact information. This is the VAPI phone number.
Yeah, and
So-
VAPI, we're using that as a platform, but VAPI stands for Voice API, Application Program Interface. But really what it is, it's a platform to provision phone numbers, and it's a platform to make voice agents. Okay.
Right.
And
And
then
then
notice here, she also has a little logo, kind of the mind. She also has, because she's using mental health, she makes a disclaimer, that's important. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a and if you have immediate, suicidal tendencies or immediate, some, mental health issues that need to be addressed with medication, we're not here for that. So she makes sure that there's a disclaimer.
and then I don't know if the contact is
Oh, here she makes emergency contacts. So because she's mental health, she wants to make sure that if there's suicide and crisis line, call, these are the professionals, national, sexual assault, domestic. But if you go to the very top, notice this, isn't this nice? Where's this coming from? If we look at that, Isabella, look at the top, listen to an overview of Reflect AI. Where's that coming from? Notebook LM, right? So you can put in, let's use what we know already. Isn't that great? And what I'm telling you, this, you'll learn how to do these voice agents. So you can even make that a service. So if you're with wealth managers, you say, do you need to have to pick up every time some schmo calls you, or make scheduled appointments? Let the AI first take that first draft in. And then later on, if we need Kiko, we can bring him into the conversation, or we can set that up if the AI doesn't know the answer. And then if you want that, we can teach you how to do it. You want to have a podcast about your company and you want it to be, Isabella, in Italian, French, and German and English, we can do that for you too.
And then also
you're-
she has her services as well.
Right. Of individual services, couples therapy, mindful sessions led by AI. Get a quote or book a session. So what happens if, can you book one there? Some of the other ones you were able to book. Can you book with the calendar? No,
Yeah.
notice this. It's nice with the calendar. You can put in dates. And then you can put your details. You may want to even play, Lily, the podcast.
So we've seen AI master, logic, language, even art over the last few years. But what happens when it starts moving into something? Well, something much more personal.
Like emotional well-being.
Exactly. Mental health support. It feels different.
It's the ultimate frontier for AI, but it's also, it's the most challenging. The whole model of human empathy, of connection, that doesn't really scale easily.
Right. So the big question is, can this technology be more than just like a triage tool? Can it actually offer meaningful, insightful care?
And that's what's so interesting here.
That's exactly.
So it basically talks about her company. Isn't that great to have? And then you say, if you want that, notice on Notebook LM, our guided videos, you can have that too for that company. So she could even do like mental health, not only for individual clients, but for other therapists to use AI in their therapy. So you could even switch it around. Therapists that are afraid, I believe, of AI, or they don't know what it does, right? Or they think it's going to take away their business. And my idea is it may take away some of their business, but now so many people need mental health issues or need help or need even consoling that 3 o'clock in the morning, if I need 5 minutes, and I'm anxious, let it help me. A therapist wouldn't help me. Or you could even have it in a way of, how do you work with these AIs? How do you guide them? What types of prompts should you do? What kind of conversation should you have? So these are ideas. And then you want to show did you show their videos? This is their video. And if you show their videos.
Yeah, so this is what I mean about your AI tools. And so each member was in charge of doing like an AI tutorial on how to use it. I recommended them use Call Annie.
Oh, I was wondering where they got it.
Because for my website that I made, I did it all based on like interview prep for like finance roles, like wealth management, investment banking, stuff like that, because I was going through that during that time. And so I'd use Call Annie as my interviewer
Right.
prep, but I found Call Annie to be a bit more like personal
Yeah.
and kind of like more wanting to like be your friend.
Yeah. Yeah. But you
But
can try them out. And that's what you
yeah.
can be doing is also during these times is you can evaluate them as well, saying
Mhm.
these are the issues that they have, but you can see those. Okay. Perfect. She's done
Yeah.
a nice job.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
important that everyone takes credit for what they do as well.
Right.
Saying
That
who
this is
the
who's
videos
who's
by.
talking about it, right? Rather
Mhm.
than doing, and you want to do a professional job, you know what I mean? You want to be, because you're going to be showing off, and also you want to make sure that everybody in your group checks everybody's work within it, because it's going to reflect you. And then what about, and last updated, right, terms and conditions generated by AI. And then what about their social media?
Yeah, I got a couple. This is their
Yeah, right. There's social media. You're gonna be doing in different social medias using, and you want to update it. You want to follow each other. And what
the,
I would do, Lily, would be a good idea. We can encourage them is contact other groups and you follow them and they follow you. So you have more followers, you have more chats, you have more messages, you have more responses.
right.
And make sure that it is open, it is not private. Everything
Right.
needs to be checked.
It's accessible. Like all
Yeah,
of these links are accessible to us.
right. You got it.
And they have the appropriate amount of posts too, because we will
Yeah,
be
they have
checking the posts.
and you want to post, you just don't want to have one post or you want it to look like a vibrant company. What
Right.
else are we missing there? I think we got
Privacy policy,
what's under more? Oh,
accessibility.
accessibility. They were really into that. And in the home, and you can see that it's professional. Also, look at their domain name, right? Go to the home. So it's then reflectai.info. Great name. And what I was telling my classes before, and people have done it, is when we're going to be using Wix and we're getting the code for it, we want to do, once we get our proposals, then we'll start doing a draft. We'll make sure that the draft is acceptable, that the language, this is a little bit I don't like. You see this white on gray, Lily?
Mhm.
Right there, I would have changed the fonts, make it the fonts larger. I would have not had that white on gray, but things like that you can improve. But they got the basics there. Some improvements in terms of that. A lot of you can use AI to create a lot of basically the verbiage. The only problem is you have to read it and say, is this really what we want? And then you can even do further prompts and prompt it further to get you to be exact, that it doesn't sound like what I call AI slop, that everybody knows AI wrote this and it's all grammatically correct, but is meaningless. So you'll basically do it. Notice they have great pictures. They look professional there. They're not at the beach, just serving. And then this was yours.
Yeah, this is my website.
And this is the same thing. And this was for what? To do what? Tell people.
It was for like mainly investment banking and wealth management in interview prep. And
Okay,
so like we have like a couple of like sources of um like guides. Like I think this is like
great.
a free guide, which is like if anyone wants it that
Breaking into Wall Street, right?
yeah, Wall
So
Street
this was,
everything.
so you were consulting to, who was your target audience here, Lily?
People who are wanting to break into Wall Street, because
Okay,
at least during like my time when I was taking this class, I was not only like interviewing with banks, but I was also networking every single day to try
great.
and get those like
Good.
opportunities to interview. And so
Right,
it
and
was
look
more
how
like
professional it is. Meet our team, Lily Walsh, the co-founder and CEO, right? And you got all these people with roles, what they did, right?
Except during this time,
Yeah.
didn't like. I think you wanted us to speak about our majors,
Yeah,
but
but I wouldn't put it
not-
in the front. Now I would put it, if you were gonna do it, I'd put it at the end. You know, I make it as a side thing, not as, then it starts sounding more like, a class, just a project we're doing. So what's your impression, Isabella? What do you think? You got the idea of what the project should be?
Yeah, and I think it's cool that you can do like whatever you want the website to be.
Right. And that's the beauty. You have the creativity. You
Yeah.
understand? And it's yours. And plus, you can keep on improving it. And you know what great is too, Isabel? You can keep on improving it after this class. And then when somebody asks you, Isabella, what can you do for me? I guarantee you, they're not going to say, even though you did well, they're not going to say, can you show me the exam you took?
Right. Yeah, I actually thought about that.
Yeah, what are they going to show you? You say, hey, listen, I can, let me show you what I can do. Let me show you, I'll take this URL and then I'll give you also the recording when you do the final recording, and you'll do the final recording as if for
Yeah.
your final project for the time of your, the time of your, final exam is you'll be presenting it with your group as to a group, and think about it as to a group of investors of what your company does.
Yeah.
And then you can give out that, as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, so we're ready. So we'll work on it. I'll do some lecturing, but on Wednesday, I want to spend time with each group. As I said before, text your group members because we don't have everyone here today. It may be, I don't know. Some people were because of flights. Some people, I don't know, maybe aren't up yet or whatever.
some people
Okay.
are taking a longer break for St. Patty's Day, Dr. Rush.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought Patty's Day was Saturday, wasn't it? It was Sunday?
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. I thought it was in the weekend. Okay.
No.
All right, they're starting early, or they're getting ready. They're sleeping before they go. You got to keep me posted on this. Little did I know, I thought it was on Saturday. Yeah, it's on the 17th. Yeah, I should know that. Okay. Coral Gables usually does a big outdoor party, I think. And what is it called? John Martin's or something. They do stuff. Okay, guys, you ready? Stay with me if you have other questions, and then you had a call out then as
Yeah.
well, Lily,
code-
and then you want to give the code out.
Yeah, it's 959 9590.
Yeah, 9590. Give
Yeah.
that out. Stay with me if you have questions.
I'll share for a bit too. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Isabella, for being our host today, our
Of
moderator.
course. See you Wednesday.
See you. Ciao, ciao.
Hi Lily, it's Ludovica. I texted you about like an electrical problem I had. Like I had problems with both my laptop